Welcome back. You're now watching the political segment on the Weekend Show, and we'll be discussing the 2023 elections. And joining us again, we have Patrick Ori, running for the Karu Gitatu constituency of Nasarawa State House of Assembly under the Labour Party. Patrick, you are a huge Obidati supporter and fan, and we talk a lot about grassroots structure and mobilization. And so we'll be talking about the upcoming election and the Labour Party. But just before that, I have the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party joining us virtually. This is important because just last week he was live on this show, joining us virtually, discussing his position on Doyin Okupe, who was the DG of the Obidati campaign, or the presidential campaign committee of the Labour Party. However, in the last 1 week, the Labour Party has now announced a new Director General of the Labour Party. However, Comrade Arabambi Abayomi, the National Publicity Secretary, had put it out stating that the new DG of the campaign was or is running for Senate under the Labour Party. He's joining us here to share his views and to hear his position on it. Good morning, Comrade Abayomi Arabambi.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Having you back on the show. We started this conversation last week, but lost you. And so I'll start with my first question. Are you still the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, and are you still with the Labour Party?
Of course, I am 100% Labour Party. In fact, more than those who think they are far and well above me in the party, and I remain the National Public Secretary of the party.
Okay, so I saw the post which you had shared about the new DG of the Presidential Campaign Committee of the Labour Party. Now, people wonder because initially you were against the last DG, and now there's a new person. And so some people are now even accusing you of anti-party activities. What's your position on the new DG of the campaign and the allegations on anti-party activities?
Well, thank you very much. You see, when we claim that we want to take Nigeria back from the hand of economic kidnappers, from the hand of questionable politicians, then we should not be seen in their cadre. I will tell you for the first time here why this issue of anti-party, is being spread about. It was an attempt by the leadership to cover their manifest fraud, which they have committed. And I want to challenge them. If everything I'm going to say here is false, I want their lawyer to write to me or to take me to court for defamation. But if they're unable to do that within the next 72 hours, then they should resign. I'm making reference to the National Chairman and National Secretary. They should resign. I repeat, I am absolving AIT of any committing in what I'm going to say now concerning them about the manifest fraud I said they committed. And if they claim what I am saying is not the truth, I want them to write me a letter of retraction that I'm going to reject, or they should take me to court. Now, this is what happened. On October 25th, they released names of the management team for Labour Party. And we have then Dr. Doyin Okupe as the DG. We have the Deputy Director General and Campaign Manager as Mr. Oseloka H. Obazi. That is the SSG to our president candidate from Anambra. Then we now have the Secretary General of the campaign from Anambra. You see, my point is this. Whoever that is coming to equity must come with clean hand. They know me right from inception that this is my character, that we have to obey our constitution, our motto. The Constitution of Labour Party talked about equity and social justice. And our constitution has said that nobody should think is more than any other member, no matter your position or the amount of money you have. I don't think that is in any other political party, I mean a manifesto, except I stand to be corrected. I now raises an issue concerning this, that I know PO very well. He is a pan-Nigerianist. He is a man who loves all sections of Nigeria. We must not be seen in this code of as a sectional party. Why do we have to have the DG, the deputy, and the secretary general all from the south? What happened to the northern state? Then they said, I should keep quiet. It's our party. We should not manage it like that. That was the cross of the whole matter. Now, up to today, Akin Ochitokun, the man they appointed, is also from the southwest. The DG remain Oseloka, who was the SSG to Peter Obi, and Secretary General from Anambra. So we have out of the three, the first three, all of them are from the south. We have two from Anambra. For me, that is utter nonsense. I told them that no, we will not accept this, because I know the way we'll be, propagating ideology of this party. I knew what transpired between the leadership, NSC, and TUC, which will be a subject.
Okay, we seem to have...
Because I knew how many times
on. Yes, please go on.
Yeah, not aspect of a party, but the leadership said no. The way we want to do it, we went to court and
we seem to be having technical difficulties, so if you could restart your connection, we would have you join us back on
in
the
that
show.
judgment, only 11 House of Rep. In that judgment, only 11 House of Rep were asked to be uploaded. 13 were asked to be uploaded by the Court of Appeal judgment before me here, signed by Justice Aruna Simon Tisnamani, Justice of the Court of Appeal. But to my greatest shock, and this was part of the plan why they claim I was suspended, that was on the 18th. But on the 25th, 18 November, but on the 25th, the Naya Chairman and Naya Secretary, as part of their manifest fraud, wrote to INEC.
We seem to be having network difficulties from your end, so we'll just come back to you in 5 minutes. But what I would like to clarify from you is, Comrade Arabambi Abayomi, have you received any documentation suspending you? Were you officially notified that you're being suspended as a National Police Secretary?
They cannot write me because they knew why I have this issue with them. They cannot write me. Now, the judgment, they now lie to INEC, they suppress material fact, and the National Chairman is a lawyer. They suppress material fact deliberately by forging this judgment. This is certified copy. They now wrote to INEC claiming it was 27. Then they called me and said, Arabambi, keep quiet now. This is our party. And I told them, if you want us to be committing fraud, which is not what Peter Obi like, then I think we should extend Buhari tenure. Because it was in the administration that we saw snakes swallowing money. And Nigeria will run away with 100 billion naira of Nigerian money, and EFCC will say, oh, we have only recovered 30 billion. I said, then we are not different from them. This was why
Comrade Abayomi, I want to find out, have you had this conversation with the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi? Have you had a direct conversation with Peter Obi? Because it sounds like you support the Peter Obi candidature, but you're not happy with the activities within the party. So have you had this conversation internally?
Because of that, hello?
Have you informed the presidential candidate Peter Obi about your concerns? Have you had a conversation internally about this?
Now,
okay, we're having technical difficulties. We'll come back to the studio and let's have a conversation with Patrick Oria. We'll come back to you, Comrade Abayomi Arabambi. So, Patrick, we've seen the PDP with their G5 governors having their internal squabbles. We've seen the APC and their Muslim candidate and the likes of Babachir Lawal. Now, within the Labour Party, we just had the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party. Last week, or initially, he had complained about Doyin Okukpe and said he should be removed. His state chapter had removed Doyin Okukpe as DG. But the party was like, you can't do that from the state level. And then there was the court judgment against Doyin Okukpe where he resigned. Now the Labour Party has a new DG of the campaign, and Comrade Abayomi Arabambi has come back again to say that a lot of the people being selected are being from the south, and there's not a full spread. And these are allegations of fraud and corruption against the party. How does that affect the Obidati movement and the obedient movement on the field? Because I know you're a grassroots politician and you're a grassroots mobilizer, so tell me.
Thank you very much. I think what is happening at the national has nothing to do with the people at the grassroots. The people in the grassroots are not concerned about the
internal
fights.
politics.
Yeah, we are not concerned. What the people are concerned is God should give them a leader in the person of Peter Obi. That is what Nigerians are concerned. When you look at the people that are fighting, is from the south, these positions are zones to the south and all that. It is not about Nigeria. They are not talking about Nigeria. They are talking about their personal interests. They are talking about their selfish interests. The Nigerians are looking at who will come and liberate us from the captivity we have been held for a very long time. That is the stance of Nigeria today. And I am sure when you look at the 5G from the PDP, I think every angle, every direction is pointed at Labour Party. They are purely for Peter Obi. They are supporting Peter Obi. When you look at the Muslim ticket in the APC, that has given even our northern brothers from the north have also pulled their support towards Peter Obi, because when you look at the candidate, you agree with me that Labour Party is the only party that have what it takes, that doesn't have religion or ethnic sentiment in dealing with Nigeria. So we want to encourage as many persons at the grassroots to continue with the campaign, the support for Obidati come 2023.
So I asked this question to the PDP representatives who was on our show, representatives who were on our show a couple of weeks ago, saying that with the internal wrangling within the PDP, if the unifier, as Atiku is called, can't fix it, how are we sure he can run a presidency? And I put the same question to you for Labour Party. You say the average Nigerians and the rest of us, the rest of you are not concerned about what's going on with internal party affairs and bickering. But don't you think it's time for Peter Obi to call his team together and call the party together to fix these little issues which could tend to be a distraction?
So do you think Peter Obi have not been doing this? He has been doing it, but the fact remains that most of the persons occupying these positions were not expecting that the party will grow this big at this time. You know, some persons look at, before now it has been PDP and APC. And people just believe that outside these two parties, other smaller parties just use this opportunity to do business. So when Peter Obi came in and they discovered that it's not going to be a business as usual, you understand? Whoever that is seen fighting today for position, they are not fighting for the interests of Peter Obi to win election. They are not fighting for Nigeria. They are fighting for themselves. And Nigeria understand this. Since Nigeria understand this, Nigeria as a whole, the youth, the women, the men are 100% behind Peter Obi. Okay,
we'll come back to that. Director, can you just confirm if we still have Comrade Abayomi Arabambi on the line so we could wrap up his own segment? So Comrade Abayomi, I was asking earlier that with these issues, have you had a conversation internally with Peter Obi, your presidential candidate, who you support, and the internal management? Why is this more of a public battle? Over to you, comrade. Okay, he seems to be having connectivity issues. So we'll come back. Let's talk about your race. You are running for the House of Assembly within Nasarawa State, Cairo, just down the road from here. What are your chances of winning?
100%.
100%. Why do you say so?
Yeah, I think among the candidates from various political parties, I'm not concerned about them because they are the one contesting with me. I'm not contesting with them. All I'm just waiting is for the swearing in, for INEC to declare me the winner, because I've lived with the people, I stay with the people, and I know what the people are going through. And I've been able to create a link between myself, my team, and the people of Cairo Gitata, not just Cairo Gitata constituency, Cairo local government, and Nasarawa State as a whole. One thing that has kept me going is that among the candidates, I think I've not seen anybody that have come out to say, these are my manifesto. This is what I am going to do. But anywhere I go, I keep telling people that this is what I'm going to do.
What are you going to do?
Well, let me start with the educational system in Nasarawa State, which education in Nasarawa State has not really been working. When you look at education in Nasarawa State, you agree with me that the government school are not working. We only have structures where you don't have chairs for pupils to sit down, students to sit down. You have few teachers in a class where you have 60 to 70 students in a class. You have one teacher. So how do you expect that teacher to perform? And when you look at the other side, you have a private school where you have one teacher taking 4 or 5 subjects. Is that teacher, what do you expect that teacher to do? A teacher that study a particular subject, but you see him teaching 5 different subjects. So how do you expect that teacher to impact knowledge, to transfer knowledge to the lives of these innocent children, innocent youth? Now, one thing I've been able to do in my manifesto, I've been able to meet with the governorship candidate of Labour Party, by the grace of God, His Excellency Joseph Ewuga. I've been able to discuss with him, and I told him that what we need to do in Nasarawa State, one is to see how we can structure educational system in Nigeria. How do we do this? First of all, we have to look at the number of private schools we have in Nasarawa State. What are the total numbers of private schools we have in Nasarawa State? What are the then what we are going to do next is to see how we can get the data of all the private school teachers in Nasarawa State. Then from this now we now know how much is these schools paying their teachers. With that, it will create a forum, a platform where the state government, through my program I've presented it to him, and he was satisfied with it. He said, wow, with this, that means the face of Nasarawa State is going to be among, if not the first, the second, among the 3, among the third. Then we're going to make sure that our private school teachers from the state government have some, at the end of every month, every teacher will be given a particular amount of money.
How will this be funded? Where will the money come from?
Nasarawa State is one of the richest states, one of the richest states in Nigeria. It's just because we don't have government that have really sat down to harness the natural resources we have in the state. We have mineral in Nasarawa State. With this alone, the government can be able to raise funds that will take care of this. Now, when you look at Nasarawa State is the closest, when you look at Cairo is the closest local government to FCT. And when you look at Cairo, we expect the government to be able to come up with policies, with programs that will generate fund revenue, that will develop Cairo, so that Cairo can be competing with Abuja. Now let's look at Nasarawa as a whole. The revenue generated in Cairo local government, 65% of it comes from Cairo local government. And that Cairo precisely is from Masaka to Maraba.
Which shares the boundary between Abuja and Nasarawa State.
Yes. And when you look at this local government, this community now, this revenue that is generated in Cairo, the government is not even using it to develop Cairo. When you go to Lafia today as we speak, all the streets in Lafia has road. When you go when you come to Cairo, there is no single street in Cairo that have a road,
Like tarred roads.
like tar road. No single street in Cairo that have a tar road. Now, what we are planning to do is to see how we can use these resources that we get from Cairo local government to develop Cairo. Then with that, you also agree that Cairo will be competing with FCT. Then secondly, we are looking at how to create a platform where our youth will be empowered. A platform where our youth will be empowered. How do we do this? We want to make sure that agriculture, which is the base of the people of Nasarawa State, every land in Nasarawa State is fertile. When we were discussing with some of my friends, and somebody told me that the best soil for agriculture is loamy soil. I said, no, yeah, loamy soil is the best soil, but even sandy soil, there are crops that can be cultivated in sandy soil. Do you know that, sir? Yeah, cassava can be cultivated in sandy soil. Granite can be cultivated in a sandy soil. All we just need to do is to make sure that our people utilize, engage in agriculture, so that this food scarcity today, we are complaining, we are crying of hunger and all that, will no longer be.
You know, it's interesting that every candidate always talks about employment, about agriculture, and all this thing. Well, it'll be good to see what happens if and when you win. But before we let you go, let's talk about insecurity, especially in the Southeast. It's expected that your candidate will get a lot of votes from the Southeast. But in the last couple of weeks, we've seen INEC offices being burned. We've seen police headquarters being attacked. Do you understand? And so my question is, how is your party going to try to unify the nation? We have the South-South, that they have their issues. We have the Northeast and Northwest. We even have the North Central. What is your party going to do to unify this country in the next couple of years?
When you talk about insecurity, when you talk about what is happening in the Southeast, in the Northeast, in the Southwest and all that, you agree with me that there is this adage that says, an idle man is a devil workshop. Now, when people have something to do, this issue of insecurity will no longer be things of discussion again. Why are people doing all these things? You agree that most of these people are being sponsored by politicians.
Yes.
And they believe that them doing this, they'll put fear in the minds of Nigeria to come out and vote for Labour Party. Already Peter Obi has a structure, has his plan, has his program on what to do to develop Nigeria. Once people have something to do, once Nigeria have something to do, if I have a job doing, if I have something doing, I won't use my time to do things that are not necessary.
But where are these jobs coming from?
These jobs are everywhere. Jobs are everywhere. All Nigeria, all the government need to do is to create an avenue, a conducive environment where people that have an idea can do business. For example, are you aware that in Cairo, we still have wards that don't have electricity? For example, Pandao don't have electricity. Kitata, Tatara Kondoro, Kuku Kabusu. These are wards in my constituency. And we have representatives. We have a senator. We have a governor. We have a House of Rep. We have a state House of Assembly. We have a state chairman. And we have a councillor. Now, when you give people, when dividend of democracy is given to the people, you agree with me that people will stay away from crime. Why are people going into crime? A young lady that is engaging in prostitution is not because she wants to go into prostitution. She's a graduate. She has younger ones to take care of. She has people that are looking up to her. But because she has nothing to do, the only option she has at that time is for her to go into a prostitution. The young man you see carry arms on the street, it's not because he wants to carry arms. He has younger ones looking up to him. Now, when the government provides an avenue where people have something to do, when government provides job for people, for example now, in one of the bills I have written, if that bill is passed into law, that bill alone will create 6,700 jobs. Now, these jobs, these are people that are seated waiting for government to give them job. Government cannot give job to everybody, but government need to create a conducive environment where people that have an ideas, people that want to go into business, people that want to invest, that want to establish a company. With that, you discover that the rate of crime in the society will reduce. And Peter Obi have always said it. He says, my time as governor, this is what I was able to do. You can go and verify if these things I am saying, they are not correct. If you can manage a little resources from the state, and people are talking about that, what happened when it comes to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Let's see if we have Comrade, and we'll come back to this. If we have Comrade Arabambi Abayomi on the line. Hello, Comrade, can you hear me? Okay,
I can hear you clearly.
So back to you. What is the potential resolution? How do you want to go forward with the current situation? Are you suspended? Is all well within the Labour Party? And what do you want?
No, just like I've said before, there was no suspension from anywhere. It was just a ruse and an attempt by them to think I can be silenced. If there's any proposed suspension, they should bring out the material facts to the public. What I placed before them on that day, they carried out the purported suspension, was a petition by a lawyer on behalf of two of our candidates. I am aware that a sum of 2.5 million was paid to the Labour Party account. That was the 22nd day of August. And also, the petitioner, because I was part and parcel, we received in that petition into the private account of the national chairman. So these were the petition that I wrote, okay, and I submitted it to the deputy national chairman, who received it on the 9th of December. But because they didn't want this one to be discussed, you know, as a rule, when a petition is written against national chairman and is to be discussed, national chairman will have to step aside and allow the national chairman to take over. He didn't want that to happen. Some 4 men were sent after me in that hotel, Barcelona. I escaped to the reception. The CCTV are there. That's why I said, if I'm telling lies, they should take me to court. The CCTV are there, 4 men, but they don't know. It was God that saved me that day. I was with Barrister Amode Mawa, the state legal advisor in Ogun, my state chairman, and Lagos state legal advisor, including me. We are 4. Those boys were also 4. They accosted me to the reception. They took my phone, and I asked them, who are you guys? They said they are police. I said, okay, if you are police, I'm not going to go to any division. Can we go to the headquarters? They said no, they will not go to the headquarters. When I wanted to collect my phone, that was when I saw these 4 men with improvised gun. Then air was let loose. I was to break all the glasses of Barcelona Hotel. When they left, before the brother to Naya Chairman came, was the PA, Jeff by name. The reception, all of them are there. All the staff of the hotel were there. And I challenged them that why should 4 men go and stay in the front of my hotel room? And you people didn't see them in your, through your CCTV. That was the day they carried out their protestation. I did not present it to them. I presented to Naya Chairman. They prevented me from coming into the NWC meeting, and they said I was suspended for anti-party. If it is anti-party, they should tell me which party I am doing, because if Naya Chairman of our party would take candidate money into his own private account, I have all the details of the directors. They are with me. Then you will not stand up as a purported suspension or anti-party. They on their own. I've expected them to come out clear with the sin I committed, but they could not, and they cannot. You won't see them at the national headquarters to read out any document against me, other than for them to think, oh, let us win this guy so that I will not talk. That one is even a smaller one. As I speak to you, other than the forgery they committed, which I now file an appeal against in the Supreme Court. My dear brother, they were served 4 times with the chief registrar, who directed the chief bailiff to serve the national secretariat with my appeal in the Supreme Court over the manifest fraud they committed between the Court of Appeal and INEC. These are what they call anti-party. And I told them, if we will not change, if we will tell Nigerians that, oh, this is where we are, want to take back Nigeria with Mr. Peter Obi. Why must we continue with these corruptive tendencies, to Aso Rock? They said, no, I have to keep quiet. So it was that petition that I wrote to any chairman that, look, Mr. Chairman, sir, my chairman and secretary, they forged Court of Appeal judgment. And for God's sake, what do you want to achieve? They said I should keep quiet. Shebi is our party. Let us go here. I said, no. If we are going to go to Aso Rock with fraudulent activity, then we should extend Buhari tenure. So, what the hell are we going to do there when we too safe, we cannot purge ourselves? That is number 2. Number 3, I say it on record here that the national chairman has in his private account money of candidate to the tune of 78,323,015 naira. I have the document here. These are what they knew. I do know what they are doing now. They have come up, some stories among them. They said they want to expel me. But we are in court. I pray they go ahead with the expulsion. Fine. I will not teach them that there is law and order in the country. Because why would you use your office to corruptly enrich yourself? And when we put out this part, they say I should keep quiet. I should not talk. These are the issues I have with National and National Secretary. They are corrupt more than anything. And yet they thought they can use that their biro because they're National and Secretary. They can write a letter and throw it, outside. These are the real, issue have.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Abayomi. These are some fierce allegations against the leadership of the Labour Party. You've also mentioned that some of the issues are in court, and so we wouldn't comment on that. However, we do advise that the Labour Party and its leadership, including yourself, handle its matters. It's our job as the media to hear both sides and every other side, and so we'll be looking forward to hear from other side of the leadership of the Labour Party. However, it's important to distinguish if this is personal or if this is political, and we do understand that political parties have their internal issues, but thank you for sharing your own opinion, your allegations of fraud and corruption against certain people within your Labour Party. I would like to state that those are the opinions of the guests, and that's the embattled National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, Comrade Abayomi Arabambi. We will be keeping tabs on this news to see how far it goes. Back to the studio, I have Honorable Patrick Ori, who is running for House of Assembly in Nasarawa State, who is sharing the vision of the Labour Party, but just not to drag it. In 1 minute, tell Nigerians why you think your candidate is the best candidate and why they should vote for him and support him.
Yeah, I think our candidate he has been tested and he's trusted. He has a capacity. He's competent, and these are some of the reasons why Nigeria should vote for him as President of the Republic of Nigeria. And secondly, I want to use this opportunity to announce to the governor of Nasarawa State to start preparing his handover notes to the Labour Party candidate.
If they win,
we are going to win. Definitely, Labour is going to win Nasarawa State, and Joseph Ewoga is going to be the next governor of Nasarawa State, and also my brothers, the 3 senatorial candidates of Labour Party, especially my dear brother, Barrister Bala Jericho, and my brother Ilya Gambo, the one going for House of Rep, Kokona.
I wouldn't give you that chance to do free publicity.
Okay, I don't know, but I just want to also the people of Nasarawa State, the people of Karogitata constituency, this is a time for them to vote the David, the Joseph, the Moses, the Gideon of this generation, a man with conscience, a man with a fear of God, a man that God has chosen to liberate the constituency from captivity, from insecurity, from unemployment, from poverty, a man that has conscience, a man that really know what the people are really going through. And that person is no any other person. The one that is seated before the screen this morning, Honorable Patrick Keke, popularly known as Keke. That is what people knows me for. And by the grace of God, the people of my constituency, the people of Nasarawa State will not be disappointed electing me as their representative. For sure, it is all about people. It has always been about giving back to the people. It has always been about representing the interests of the people. It has always been about let the people feel the impact of democracy. It has always been about the constituency allowances that is meant for the people. Let it be used to develop my constituency. I'm the only candidate, in as much as Nasarawa is concerned, that does not have a godfather. The only godfather I have is God in heaven. Anything that God cannot do doesn't exist.
Honorable Patrick, thank you so much. Patrick is running for House of Assembly in Nasarawa State, but he's a local and grassroots mobilizer and a fierce, obedient member of the Labour Party. Wish you and your party all the best. We do hope that the issues with the leadership is resolved, and we do encourage Nigerians to be tolerant of every other person. And so, as we wrap up the final show for 2022, I want to advise Nigerians, if you have registered to vote, go get your PVC. If you have your PVC, go and vote. If you are voting and campaigning for people, it is extremely important to note that not everyone will like and support your candidate. And so we encourage everyone to be tolerant. The fact that someone may not be supporting your candidate doesn't make the person a demon or evil. It doesn't mean you should insult and attack the person. Mobilize for your candidates. Go out, vote, stay and make sure your vote is counted, and hold the government accountable, because at the end of the day, it is about you Nigerians, it's about your future and the country we want to see. It's not about parties, it is about Nigerians. And so as we enter the new year, it's an election year, pay attention, listen to what these candidates are saying, and objectively vote and support, but make sure you remain tolerant. It's crossover service for Christians and people who are going to church tonight. We do advise you to drive safely. Take it easy on the drinking, no drunk driving as well. On days like this, we see a lot of reckless activities going on, which results into loss of lives. We don't want to enter 2023 on that note. To our viewers at home, you have watched us for the last 51 weeks, and we want to say thank you so much for always tuning into the weekend show, for sending your comments, for some of you even suggest topics for us to discuss, and we will continue to remain an objective platform, giving people a chance to come and speak truth to power, to speak truth to the nation, and see how we can grow the country together. Also want to say no to all forms of domestic and sexual gender-based violence, and wish everyone a very happy new year. You can watch our episodes on YouTube at Weekend Show. You can also follow us on social media at Weekend Show NG on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. My name is Andy Madoki, and you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Andy Madoki. Do have a blessed weekend and have a happy and prosperous new year. Goodbye for now.